Hi. So today we've got I got some knives that were sent in to me to get sharpened. So there is this one. It's got a 3-inch heel height, and then it's got 10-inch long blade. Show the cutting geometry. So it's pretty decently thick, both there and also there. And measurement up here is 0.8, 0.83, 0.083, and then the behind edge thickness. So right there at the top of that the top of that secondary bevel is 0.028 inches. And then it's got a tiny little hollow grind. And I had received permission to modify one of the ones. So it's the exact same knife, but I got permission to modify it and thin it out, and then I also had reprofiled it because I don't necessarily like the edge profile on this one is not as efficient as I'd like, so I had went and reprofiled it so that it allowed for more efficient cutting. And then I majorly thinned it out. So this one. So that we did that on, and it's got a 600 grit satin finish. It's got a K-tip on there. Reverse tanto. And this one, spine thickness is at 0.078 inches. And then the thickness behind the edge, that teeny tiny little bevel, can't even see it. That is 0.008 inches. So super duper thin. For reference, the width of a human hair is 0.003. Width of a piece of standard copy paper is about 0.004. So anyway, on to the cut test. So both are paper towel cutting sharp. Both will easily cut paper. And actually, before we do that, how about I show you the cutting geometry on this one. This is what it looks like after being thinned out majorly. Super duper thin. You can see where the grind line comes down. See how it's ground. Also see it's got a nice taper to the tip. Super duper pointy. Got a piece of paper. So we'll show off this one first. And right there, we're looking for, if it can be able to push cut straight, that means that that edge will be able to easily do tomatoes, but it'll bite in nice and good. And it should be able to go either direction just fine if you have properly sharpened it. That is all my stuff. That is standard. And it must be able to cut paper towels, because that tells me that I got a nice apex on there, and I do multiple steps to help make sure that I do not have a burr on that edge, so I'll pull it through a piece. I'll bring it up to 600 grit after doing an initial step with an 80 grit, just to very lightly make sure that I've actually got nice clean edges, all of that. Make sure that I got a little bit of a burr, doing it edge leading, which also helps to minimize the burr. And then after doing the 600 grit, using an A30 Trizact belt, then I go on and do about 4 passes on my felt belt, and then I go and pull it through a piece of wood 4 times, then another 4 passes on the felt belt, and it comes out like this. And that's just make sure that's a nice clean apex, cut really well, and you'll be able to get the most out of the edge because you're not having that little burr that's a weak piece of material. And with what we are doing today, just demonstrating the difference between this. So this is what normally being used in that particular kitchen. And like it works. It will have, if you get it properly sharpened, it won't have issues with soft stuff, but it'll definitely struggle more on hard stuff just because, again, you can see just how tiny that little hollow grind is. And what that means is that the material is going to go up, hit that edge right there, and then you're going to get increased friction just because there's that sudden stop. And if you don't want that, then you want to have a more gradual transition all the way up. And that's part of what I have on this one. We've got a nice full flat grind going all the way up from the bottom all the way to the top. And nice and clean all the way. Got a teeny tiny bit of convexing just to help give it a little bit more edge stability, but like it is very light. Almost everything was done with the normal belts, and then just lightly touched it up on the Scotch-Brite belts, just help get nice, clean, even finish on the blade. As you can see, I like how it came out. I also went and chamfered the spine on this one. Haven't chamfered the troil yet. I still gotta do that. Anyway, show you what this one looks like. Keep in the same spot on the blade. Just push it like that. Bites all the way. Now we'll just no issues. Just bites. Feels like it wants to bite all the way. Anyway, have some nice crisp we have some nice crisp Granny Smith apples. Just barely got these yesterday. So first off, we will show this one. So this is what would be more typical that you find in the kitchen. So as had been said before, so not optimized cutting geometry. It'll work for more of your average home user, people that don't know how to use knives as much. It's hard to damage. You can still damage it. I've had to repair knives that have had that happen, have big chips, all of that. But on something like this, where it's more crisp, then it's going to struggle more. So we're going to start. Got our pinch grip, just like that. And we got our finger claw. And it goes through. And you can see it's pretty clean for the quality of the cut. But it didn't feel very good because as I said, this is just that abrupt transition. It just doesn't feel good. I had to put a lot more pressure into doing that cut. So, and we'll just cut up the rest of the apple, just that way it's done. So I can do it, and it works. It's easier when it's thinner like that, but going through the whole thing, it doesn't feel very good. And I guess even worse, the bigger your thing is. So if you're cutting something like cabbage, it's not going to feel very good. You're going to have to put a lot of pressure into it. And then we'll show this one. This one is exciting. This one. So now we do that. And even just putting it on it, it's already starting to bite. And just... And that one just like... Let's see. Yep. Just like that. Just using the weight of the knife and that forward motion. That feels so good. And with this one then, this one has more profile for rocking, as it's not well optimized for chopping as much. You can do it, because at least for this, it's not super severe. But yeah, it definitely is made more for doing that rocking motion. So I can show that. But it just doesn't feel as good. And part of that is just because of how tall it is. And because of how tall my cutting board is. And then we got our actual chops. Although, we'll do push cuts first. That is okay for that. It's not bad. Okay, and then, let's see, can we do a chop? No. So, this one does not have the cutting geometry to be able to chop on something dense. It just binds up too much because it's not thin enough. Anyway, show on this one. So this one, instead of how it's on the other one, this one has very light curvature all the way up to like right here, and then I've got more of my belly right here. But it's still low down enough so I can be able to easily access that tip. It's below the center line of our handle, which means that, as I said, that tip is easier to access. I've angled this part so that when I'm doing my draw cuts, it's easier to be able to get full board contact and, as I said, really access that tip. And we can still be able to rock with this. And it's just very solid engagement right there. And it just effortlessly passes through. But this is where it's a lot more fun. Means that you can go really fast, get nice and thin pieces, like you can see right there, you can see my thumb through that. Nice and thin. So, see, that one's even thinner. And that's just because it bites in easier to apple, so you can go thinner. Because there's so little material that you're trying to force into the food. And then this one, which I think should be able to do chops with. So you can. It still works better having that push cut. Okay. There we go. Yep. No, that works just fine. Let's see. No issues. Okay. So, yep. And the other thing that I'd want to demonstrate with this is, so we're going to load up all our apples onto it here, is that for manufacturers, just for these knives in general, if it has a decent heat treatment, if you have a decent heat treatment on the knife, you should be able to go way thinner than what, or you should be able to go thinner than what the manufacturers are typically doing. If you know what you're doing, you can be able to have it be thin like that. And like this one is definitely not an optimal heat treatment. Like there's better steels that you can be able to get. This one I don't even know what the steel is. But I have found that as long as it's a decent heat treatment, if you do the cutting geometry correctly, you can and have good cutting technique. There's no issues with edge stability. Like if we take this one, go and do a quick rinse. Even doing all the chopping. No issues. Just flows through that cut really, really well. So, the other thing that we're going to do to show how stable the edge is with good technique is we're going to cut a big old watermelon, 22-pound watermelon, with a big old rind. It should be lots of fun. Are you excited? Because I am. This is the sort of thing that I love to do, and to be able to maximize the performance of the knives. Okay. Ugh. There we go. So, we've got our tonker boy right here. We've got our round right here. This one, I think I'm probably not going to go, well, we'll go through the center of it, because, you know, why not? Just show the edge stability. Just make our cut, and here we go. Yeah. But anyway, as you can see, that is flat, and it went through so easy. And that was going through. Look at how much rind is on that. Like, that's a big old watermelon, and no issues. We'll do a few more cuts. So we'll also do a good one to help show edge stability. Is we're going to be doing a twisting motion while we're doing our cuts. So if we can get that positioned correctly. So we'll go around like this. Do big old motions. And because of that twisting motion, it's putting some lateral force on that super thin edge. This one just super easily passes through. This one is a lot of fun to use so far. Okay. Okay. Almost done.
We gotta get this kid some watermelon.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing again. Hurry and go wash this and show the edge after. Okay. We got our piece of paper. No issues. And if we push over the watermelon, see how it does on the paper towel. There we go. So, what do you think? Was that pretty good? I know, at least for me personally, this is the sort of knife that I much prefer to have in the kitchen, especially if doing anything professionally, because you need to go fast. And this one, even when it's dull, will cut better than the other one that I showed, just by the fact that the cutting geometry is just simply so much thinner. And I'd, for people that are competent in the field, this will work so much better. You just got to use good technique and it will just fly through your food. There's no issues with edge stability. I've done the same thing on this Tomodachi. Same thing. Super duper thin. This one is at 0.01 for the, or 0.01 for the behind edge thickness at the top of that teeny tiny sharpening bevel. And both the knives that I had shown for this cut test, both were sharpened 18 degrees exactly. And yeah, so anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you find that is informative. Anyway, thanks. Bye.